Husband spent $25,000 from our savings on his sister's gift. When I confronted him, he called me a stupid housewife and told me to get a job. 2 weeks later, he's begging for my help. I, 34F, have been married to my husband Jack, 36M, for 8 years. We have 2 children, Emma, 6F, and Liam, 4M. I've been a stay-at-home mom since Emma was born, a decision we made together because childcare costs were astronomical, and we wanted our kids to have a parent at home during their early years. Jack has always been the breadwinner, working as a successful software engineer. We've lived comfortably, managing to save a decent amount each month for our future and our children's education. Our relationship has had its ups and downs, but overall, I thought we were happy and on the same page about our finances and family goals. That was until last month when everything fell apart. It started when Jack's sister, Sarah, 32F, announced her engagement to her longtime boyfriend. Sarah has always been the apple of their parents' eyes, and Jack has a bit of a complex about it. He's always trying to impress her and win her approval. The day after Sarah's engagement announcement, Jack came home late from work, looking excited. He told me he had a surprise and couldn't wait to show Sarah. I was curious but didn't think much of it. Little did I know that this surprise would turn our lives upside down. The next day, while I was busy with the kids, Jack slipped out early. He returned a few hours later, grinning from ear to ear. When I asked what was going on, he proudly announced that he had bought Sarah the perfect engagement gift. My heart sank when he told me what it was: a brand new luxury car. A $25,000 luxury car. I was speechless. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. $25,000? That was a huge chunk of our savings. Money we had set aside for our children's future, for emergencies, for our retirement. How could he make such a massive financial decision without even discussing it with me? When I finally found my voice, I asked him how he could do this without talking to me first. His response was dismissive. "Oh, come on," he said, rolling his eyes. "It's my sister's engagement. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event. She deserves something special." I tried to reason with him. I explained that while I understood wanting to do something nice for his sister, $25,000 was far too much. We had responsibilities, commitments. What about our children's college funds? What if one of us lost our job or got sick? But Jack wouldn't listen. He accused me of being selfish and jealous of Sarah. When I persisted, trying to make him see reason, he exploded. "You're just a stupid housewife," he yelled. "What do you know about money? If you're so concerned about our finances, why don't you get a job instead of sitting around all day?" I was stunned. In all our years together, Jack had never spoken to me like this. I felt like I'd been slapped. Tears welled up in my eyes, but I was too shocked to cry. I just stood there, staring at this man I thought I knew, wondering who he had become. Without another word, I turned and left the room. I spent the rest of the day in a daze, going through the motions of caring for our children while my mind reeled from what had just happened. That night, Jack slept on the couch. The next morning, he left for work without speaking to me. This pattern continued for days. He'd come home late, barely acknowledge me or the kids, and sleep on the couch. I was hurt, angry, and confused, but I tried to keep things normal for Emma and Liam. A week passed like this. Then, on Saturday morning, Jack announced he was going to Sarah's to give her the car. He asked if I wanted to come. I declined, telling him I had to take care of the kids. The truth was, I couldn't bear to watch him hand over our family's financial security to his sister. He shrugged and left. I spent the day trying to distract myself with the children, but my mind kept wandering to Jack in the car. I imagined Sarah's delighted reaction, Jack basking in her approval, neither of them giving a thought to the cost, not just the financial cost, but the cost to our family. Jack returned late that night, smelling of alcohol. I was sitting in the kitchen, waiting for him. He stumbled in, a silly grin on his face. "You should have seen her face," he slurred. She was so happy. Mom and Dad were impressed too. They said I was such a generous brother. I didn't respond. I just looked at him, this man who had thrown away our family's security for a moment of approval from his sister and parents. He must have seen something in my expression because his grin faded. "What?" he demanded. "Are you still mad about the money? Get over it already." I took a deep breath. Jack, we need to talk about this. What you did was irresponsible and disrespectful to me and our children. We're supposed to be partners. You can't make huge financial decisions like this without consulting me. He scoffed. I don't need your permission to spend my own money. It's not just your money, Jack, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. We're married. We have children. That savings was for our family's future. Well, if you're so worried about money, get a job, he sneered. Stop being a lazy housewife and contribute something for once. His words hit me like a physical blow. Lazy? Did he really think that raising our children, managing our home, was being lazy? Did he not value everything I did for our family? I can't believe you just said that, I whispered. Do you have any idea how hard I work every day? Taking care of our children, our home, you? I thought we agreed that this was best for our family. Well, maybe I've changed my mind, he shot back. Maybe I'm tired of being the only one bringing in money around here. I stood up, my hands shaking. If that's how you feel, maybe we need to rethink this whole arrangement. Maybe we need to rethink this whole marriage. As soon as the words left my mouth, I saw a flicker of something, fear? Regret? Dash in Jack's eyes. But it was quickly replaced by anger. Fine, he spat. If that's what you want. He stormed out of the kitchen and I heard the front door slam a moment later. I sank back into my chair, buried my face in my hands, and finally let the tears come. The next 2 weeks were a blur. Jack moved out, staying with a friend from work. He'd come by to see the kids, but our interactions were cold and minimal. I was running on autopilot, trying to keep things normal for Emma and Liam while my world was falling apart. I started looking into job opportunities, realizing that I might need to support myself and the children soon. It was daunting. I hadn't been in the workforce for 6 years. But I was determined to do whatever it took to provide for my kids. Then, exactly 2 weeks after our blow-up, everything changed again. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I had just picked up Emma from school and was helping her with her homework while Liam napped. The doorbell rang. When I opened it, I found Jack standing there, looking like he hadn't slept in days. Can I come in? He asked, his voice rough. We need to talk. I hesitated, then nodded, stepping aside to let him in. We went to the kitchen, where Emma was still working on her math problems. Hey, sweetie, Jack said, forcing a smile. Do you mind if I borrow Mommy for a few minutes? We need to have a grown-up talk. Emma looked between us, her little face scrunched in confusion. She nodded slowly and gathered her things, heading to her room. Once she was gone, I turned to Jack. What is it? I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral. Jack slumped into a chair, running his hands through his hair. I messed up, he said quietly. I messed up so bad, and I need your help. I sat down across from him, my heart pounding. What happened? He took a deep breath. I got fired yesterday. I felt like the wind had been knocked out of me. What? Why? Remember that project I've been working on for the past few months? The one for that big client? I nodded, and he continued. Well, I've been distracted lately. With everything going on with Sarah's engagement and us. I made some major mistakes in the code. The client lost a lot of money because of it. They threatened to sue the company, so my boss fired me to appease them. I sat there, stunned. Jack had always been so good at his job. I couldn't believe he'd made such a huge mistake. That's not all, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. The company. They're considering legal action against me to recoup some of their losses. The room seemed to spin. I gripped the edge of the table to steady myself. How? How much are we talking about? Jack's eyes met mine, filled with fear and desperation. At least $100,000. Maybe more. I felt sick. $100,000? We didn't have that kind of money, especially not after Jack's extravagant gift to Sarah. The gravity of our situation hit me like a ton of bricks. What are we going to do? I asked, my voice shaking. Jack reached across the table, tentatively taking my hand. I was too shocked to pull away. That's why I'm here, he said. I need your help. I don't know what to do. I've royally screwed everything up, and I don't know how to fix it. I looked at him, this man who had hurt me so deeply just 2 weeks ago. Part of me wanted to tell him to leave, to figure it out on his own. But another part of me, the part that remembered the good times, the part that was thinking of our children, couldn't turn him away. "Okay," I said finally. "Let's figure this out together." Relief washed over Jack's face. "Thank you," he whispered. "I'm so sorry for everything. For the money, for what I said to you. You didn't deserve any of that. I was stupid and selfish, and I regret it more than you can imagine." I nodded, not quite ready to forgive him yet, but willing to work together for the sake of our family. "We need to make a plan," I said. "First, we need to talk to a lawyer. Then we need to look at our finances, see what we can do to protect ourselves and the kids." Jack nodded eagerly. "Yes, absolutely. Whatever you think is best. I trust you." We spent the next few hours going over our options. We decided to consult a lawyer the next day, and I started making calls to set up appointments with financial advisors. As we worked, I could see Jack watching me with a mix of gratitude and admiration. "I can't believe how calm and organized you are," he said at one point. "I'm a mess, and you're handling everything so well." I gave him a small smile. "This is what I do every day, Jack. I manage our home, our children's schedules, our day-to-day lives. It's not so different from managing a crisis." He looked ashamed. "I'm sorry I didn't see it before. You're amazing, and I took you for granted." As the evening wore on, we ordered pizza for dinner. Emma was thrilled to have her daddy back, and even Liam, who had been clingy and fussy since Jack left, seemed happier. Watching them together, I felt a glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, we could get through this. After the kids were in bed, Jack and I sat on the couch, exhausted but feeling like we had at least the beginnings of a plan. "I know I have no right to ask this," Jack said hesitantly, "but is there any chance? Can we try to work things out? I love you, and I love our family. I know I messed up badly, but I want to make it right if you'll let me." I took a deep breath. "I can't answer that right now, Jack. You hurt me deeply, and it's going to take time to rebuild trust. For now, let's focus on getting through this legal and financial mess. We'll take it one day at a time, okay?" He nodded, looking both disappointed and understanding. "That's fair. Thank you for even considering it. And thank you for helping me, even after everything I did. I don't deserve you." As he got up to leave, we had agreed he would continue staying at his friend's place for now. I stopped him. "Jack," I said, "I need you to promise me something." "Anything," he replied immediately. "Promise me that from now on, we're a team. No more unilateral decisions. No more dismissing each other's contributions. We're partners in this marriage and in raising our children. Can you promise me that?" Jack's eyes filled with tears as he nodded. "I promise. I swear I'll never take you for granted again. We're a team." As I watched him walk to his car, I felt a mixture of emotions: anger, hurt, fear, but also a tiny spark of hope. We had a long road ahead of us, filled with legal battles, financial struggles, and the hard work of rebuilding our relationship. But for the first time in weeks, I felt like we might actually have a chance. The next morning, I woke up early, my mind already racing with everything we needed to do. As I made breakfast for the kids, I couldn't help but think about how quickly life can change. Just a month ago, I thought I had it all figured out. Now, everything was uncertain. But as I watched Emma and Liam eat their cereal, chatting happily about their plans for the day, I felt a surge of determination. No matter what happened with Jack, no matter what financial or legal challenges we faced, I would do whatever it took to protect and provide for my children. I picked up my phone and dialed the number of the lawyer we had decided to consult. As it rang, I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the battles ahead. Whatever came next, I was ready to face it head-on. The receptionist answered, and I straightened my shoulders. "Hello," I said, my voice strong and clear. "I'd like to schedule an appointment with Mr. Thompson. It's regarding a potential lawsuit and financial planning." As I hung up the phone, having secured an appointment for later that day, I felt a strange mix of anxiety and empowerment. This wasn't the life I had envisioned for myself, but I was discovering strengths I never knew I had. I looked at the calendar on the fridge, where I had started marking off the days until our lawyer appointment. Day one of our new reality. Whatever happened next, I knew one thing for certain: I was done being dismissed as just a housewife. It was time for the world, and especially Jack, to see what this stupid housewife was really capable of. It's been 6 months since that day when Jack came begging for my help, and our lives have changed dramatically. I wanted to provide an update for those who have been following our story and offering support. First, the legal situation. After extensive negotiations and with the help of our lawyer, we managed to settle with Jack's former company out of court. We agreed to pay back $75,000 over 5 years. It's a significant amount, but much less than we initially feared. We had to take out a second mortgage on our house to cover part of it, and we're on a strict budget, but we're managing. As for our financial situation, it's been challenging. Jack was unemployed for 3 months, which put a massive strain on our resources. During this time, I started working part-time as a virtual assistant. It's been a juggling act with the kids, but Jack has stepped up to help more with childcare and household chores. The good news is that Jack finally found a new job last month. It's a step down from his previous position, both in terms of responsibility and salary, but he's grateful for the opportunity. He's working hard to rebuild his professional reputation. Now, for the part many of you have been asking about, our relationship. It hasn't been easy. We've had many long, difficult conversations. There have been tears, arguments, and moments where I wasn't sure we would make it. But we're both committed to making this work, not just for the kids, but for us. We've been seeing a marriage counselor, which has been incredibly helpful. It's given us tools to communicate better and work through our issues. Jack has done a lot of soul searching. We've been seeing a marriage counselor, which has been incredibly helpful. It's given us tools to communicate better and work through our issues. Jack has done a lot of soul searching and has been working on his own issues, particularly his need for approval from his family and his tendency to make impulsive decisions. One of the biggest changes has been in how Jack views my role in our family. He's realized just how much work goes into being a stay-at-home parent and managing a household. He's apologized numerous times for his stupid housewife comment and has made a conscious effort to show appreciation for everything I do. As for the infamous car that started this whole mess, we had to have a difficult conversation with Sarah. We explained our financial situation and asked if she would be willing to sell the car and give us back some of the money. It was an awkward and emotional discussion, but to our surprise, Sarah was understanding. She agreed to sell the car and gave us back $20,000, which has been a huge help in managing our debt. This situation has also led to some much-needed conversations with Jack's family. We've set clearer boundaries and expectations, and Jack has been working on not basing his self-worth on their approval. On a personal note, this experience has changed me in ways I never expected. I've discovered a resilience and strength I didn't know I possessed. The part-time work I took on out of necessity has rekindled my interest in my pre-mom career, and I'm now taking online courses to update my skills. Jack has been supportive of this, even offering to cut back his hours if I decide to pursue full-time work in the future. Our relationship is different now. In some ways, it's stronger. We communicate more openly and honestly. We make decisions together. We appreciate each other more. But there's also a fragility that wasn't there before. Trust, once broken, takes time to rebuild. There are still moments when I look at Jack and feel a pang of hurt, remembering his words and actions. But there are also moments of deep connection, of gratitude for how we've weathered this storm together. The children have been remarkably resilient through all of this. We've tried to shield them from the worst of it, but kids are perceptive. Emma has asked a few times why Daddy slept on the couch for a while and why he moved out temporarily. We've been honest with her, in an age-appropriate way, explaining that Mommy and Daddy had a big disagreement but that we're working things out because we love each other and our family. Looking back, I can hardly believe it's only been 6 months. In some ways, it feels like a lifetime ago. In others, the hurt and shock of that day when Jack told me about the car still feel fresh. If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's the importance of open communication and mutual respect in a relationship. Jack and I both made mistakes. He made a huge financial decision without consulting me, and I perhaps didn't assert myself enough in our financial discussions before this incident. We're both working on these issues now. Thank you all for your support throughout this journey. Your kind words and advice have been a lifeline during the darkest times.